Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Carrie Roldan Show, where we spend 30 minutes a week, rough 30 minutes, give or take, having conversations that matter to the mompreneur's mind, body, and business. Today we'll be discussing alignment and how getting into physical alignment can help get you into vibrational alignment with your personal and business goals. I'm your host, Carrie Roldan. I'm a wife, a mother, an author, a coach, a personal growth junkie, and your total business BFF. And I help busy mompreneurs ready to spread their wings to leverage their unique gifts so they can make an impact on the world. I'm also an avid runner, and I believe it to be an essential practice, not just for my health and fitness, but for the health of my business as well. To learn more about that, you can download my free report, The 5 Reasons You Can't Afford Not to Run, at freereport.runyourselfhappysystem.com. Now, as a runner, I have long known the importance of physical alignment to overall running economy and injury prevention. But it wasn't until I reached my late 30s that I came to recognize the power of postural alignment on my business. You see, I believe in the law of attraction and that we must be in vibrational alignment with our goals in order to achieve them. I just didn't realize that postural alignment was such an important component. Now, my guest today is a longtime friend whom I don't get to see nearly enough of. Laura Jane is also a busy mompreneur on a mission to change the world. She started out as a yoga and Egoscue therapist who helped people get into physical alignment to eliminate chronic pain. And she's evolved into a visionary leader on the leading edge of what I'm calling the alignment movement. Laura Jane has a master's in psychology, is a certified yoga instructor and Egoscue therapist, an author and speaker, and is in the business of raising vibrations. Laura Jane and I met about 8 years ago when our children were in preschool together. But since like attracts like, we've been business BFFs ever since, helping each other to grow and to evolve and to serve the world with our unique gifts and talents. So welcome Laura Jane to the show. I'm going to unmute her now because her mic is a little bit noisy. So Laura Jane, welcome.
Thank you. I am just so thrilled to be here, me and my noisy mic. And yeah, just so continuously stoked to be so aligned with you and what you're bringing and seeing and using and dreaming up. So happy to be part of the continuing dream unfolding.
Yeah. Yes, this is so fun. Just for those of you watching, Laura Jane and I we've really been evolving together, and we knew we had, these unique gifts and talents and just been really supportive of each other and trying to do it. And it's so fitting that in this first episode of my Google Hangout on Air, it's Laura Jane who is the guest. Laura Jane, so for those people who are going, what the heck is postural therapy? What's a yoga therapist? What is Egoscue? Can we start there? Can you tell everybody a little bit about what that is?
Yes, love to. So yeah, I'm calling what I'm offering and bringing right now yoga therapy. And what we can remember is that yoga really just means union, or to connect, or to realign. And then, of course, the ways we can use it to be therapeutic. So I started as, one of my pieces along this quest was getting involved in being a yoga teacher and getting some of that traditional training and focus. And then I also had the honor of getting to go to work for the Egoscue method and getting to go through their postural alignment specialist trainings, where my eyes really got open to how much we're using these exercises as therapy and even like a chiropractic adjustment to literally pull the structure into alignment specifically and carefully. But yes, that we are doing powerful alignment work is really what I learned with Egoscue and got to just help hundreds of people come into more alignment, more feelings of feeling good, and definitely getting out of pain, because a lot of what brings people to something like Egoscue has been pain, and that just is a real indicator of imbalance and misalignments. But now I'm having fun bringing it all together, still enjoying and loving and sharing what I've learned with Egoscue and the important specifics, especially of getting personal with your practice and really going after what's happening with your specific structure and body and energy and life right now, and how much it is about practice. But I'm also enjoying bringing in the yoga pieces, which yoga, it turns out, is actually more of a system of psychology more than anything. And one of the systems that definitely has taught that we're made of energy and that we're all connected and it's all connected. So for me, the Egoscue, psychology, the yoga has been a great way to bring it all together, basically just to help people feel better now and really own it, with how that comes down to perspective and practice, and that you're going to be continuing to grow your own ways with that. And so that's what I really love to do, is help people build their ways of feeling better, both through personalized practice and perspective and even a little psychology. And yeah, loving getting leading edge with all of it, both in my personal life and what I get to share with others. So that's a little way I would respond to that. Yeah, as how you, and so what we're doing also, I guess you asked me about postural therapy. We could talk about that a little more if you want me to. So what we learned.
So Laura Jane,
go ahead.
Can I interrupt you? So back it up just slightly for someone who's wondering, like you mentioned these exercises or these postures. What are, when you talk about these exercises or these postures, and you say you've been an Egoscue therapist, you've been a yoga therapist, like, to me, when I do my menu, right, my personalized practice, like I love that you said getting personal with your practice. So when I do that, which of course the practice was given to me by Laura Jane based on my own particular imbalances and where I happen to be feeling pain or having recurring injuries. But when you do that personal practice, what does it look and feel like? Is it, I mean, I could explain it, I think, but I'm maybe looking for an answer for you. Is it yoga? Is it physical therapy? What is it? What does it look like?
Yeah. Well, what's so neat is it's really all of the above, and it's really a more holistic physical therapy that's going to be going after your specific stuff. So yeah, we're using exercises, and again, down at Egoscue is really where I connected with the important postures that I wanted to use, a lot of them from the schools of yoga and also physical therapy and even sometimes like military trainings. But through Egoscue's work, Pete Egoscue, the founder of that method, did a lot of research and study to just really find out what was going to work with these specific exercises, how they're going to go after changing the alignment and helping the body and the structure now hold that new alignment. So we use exercises that stretch, they reposition, which is the big difference that maybe a lot of us aren't getting from our current routine, is the repositioning elements possible with this stuff. And then, of course, strengthening, which is going to help us hold the new alignment. But it's important that we do it in a certain order. So that's a lot of what I got from Egoscue, that we always want to straighten before we strengthen. So generally when I get to build someone a practice, I did learn through my training at Egoscue to make it a real efficient, effective practice, and to work with the fact that most of us are busy. So for most of us, like 20 minutes a day is a nice goal to work with, and that really we can do the important work in 20 minutes a day with the right and challenging enough stuff to really go after your imbalances and to remedy them. So it becomes a sequence of these specific exercises, and down at Egoscue we have over 600 exercises that we need to work with, but I've learned even more how to play with the vast repertoire of yogas. You could say there's over 800,000 yoga postures, and that anything could be called a yoga posture. The yoga part is really the attention, the awareness, the energetic elements, the meditative aspects. So anything could be called a yoga posture, but these specific postures we're using because of what we now know they do for alignment and for helping us hold that alignment. so that when we go out in the day, we can just run and jump and play with ease, because it's not at all about holding the body straight or even trying to walk or run in a certain way. That's a big misconception, I think, that some people have gotten from any talk of posture is, oh, it just means I should stand up straight or try to even run with my feet straight or walk with, and that actually turns out is not a great idea, because we tend to recruit some of the wrong muscles and creating other problems other places. So the idea is you do your daily practice, which stretches, realigns, and strengthens you back into good alignment, and then you can go run and jump and play and do your stuff with ease, and even do things like run happily for a lifetime. I know you and I have bonded over how Egoscue is really where I learned that running's not bad for you, right? Remember that whole, like maybe it's terrible on the knees and eventually you got to give it up. And no, I mean, Egoscue really helped me see that the human body is built to have impact like that on the knees, and that's no problem in an aligned knee, right? In an aligned structure, that impact is great, and it's going to build the strength. And so my new favorite line is, it's not your age, it's your alignment, because it's like, whatever it is, it's your alignment. So, and this is just talking physically, structurally, and then of course how that ties into the energy work we're doing with this stuff. So,
so that's my next question, Laura Jane, is, in the beginning of this show, my intro was about how I didn't really discover. I discovered by accident, because I started doing the work that you were doing. I was interested in doing the work that you were doing because I'd been running for a really long time and was starting to get chronic running injuries, and was worried, right? I was in my early 30s at the time. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to run daily. Now, I was also going through kind of a shift, right? I had become a stay-at-home mom and was wanting something more. And I'm sorry, Laura Jane, I'm going to mute you for just a second because I can hear myself. So I promise to unmute you when I'm done asking the question. Except for now I can't remember how to mute you, so never mind. But I recognized somewhere in the process, right, that it was more than just these physical movements that was making me feel better, that was getting me out of pain. I was able to run every day. My chronic injuries went away. But something else was happening, and there was a shift. And it also happened to be in a time in my life where I was learning and exploring and sort of getting to understand this whole idea of what vibrational alignment is, and why it's important to align your vibration with the vibration of that you're looking to attract or achieve. But just wondering, I don't know if you can maybe shed some light on that or talk about when you first made that connection.
Yeah. That has been a great new awareness for me, too, these last couple of years. After 6-7 years of having done a daily physical practice, because I'm thinking I'm doing it for the way my body would feel, and then starting to notice how my mind would feel. And then, now more than ever, as I'm into vibration and energy and really understanding that how I feel tells me about how I'm vibrating. So that's where this approach is so valuable, because it really gets us in a more feeling-oriented mode in general. So we're just going to be more aware of how we're feeling, how we're vibing in the moment, and then more willing to take a look at that and even find some ways to play with and shift that. So that's where I've come to this feel better now is like the highest priority, because how we feel now is how we're vibing now and what we're attracting now. And so feeling better now is always going to be the best idea, in my opinion, these days. But with the specific physical practice, in my quest for continuing to feel better and vibe better and attract more of what I want, I just could not deny how much my mat practice played a role in the feelings of settledness in the mind and calm and energy flow that I would feel on the days that I made sure to do my physical practice. So for me, too, it continues to show up more and more how much it's playing into how I feel, and especially energetically. And I'm super excited about the energy work that we're doing with things like these postures, and that, as we use a specific practice, it's amazing what you can do. I mean, whatever I'm feeling is totally transformed in that 20 minutes with my specific practice, and I know you've felt that too. So whether it's a grumpy mood or a cranky shoulder, or even something that happened when you were out playing. If you got an injury, your practice is still going to be the way to iron it out. But yeah, the vibrational energetic work that we're doing is super exciting. And that as we start to look at all the symptoms and imbalances, it's just energy, that we're approaching that with our practice. And so, yeah, the better that we can feel, and even the more aligned the structure, we now know the more the energy is flowing, the more you're able to just flow energy when your structure's aligned. I even posted that on my Facebook today, that there's a page from Pete Egoscue about how the musculoskeletal system is like a plug, and that's where we get our energy. So when we have misalignments, it's totally affecting the energy flow, and that's going to play out in various ways, whether it's your mood or your energy level or your body symptoms. So it's amazing what we're doing when we add in the work with the specific postures, for instance, and then also other ways that we know we can feel better, you know, like running, like writing, like other ways of meditating, that we see it all as part of our energy work and really keeping an eye on what we're vibing, because, yeah, we want to vibe up with what we do want. That's a big one I get, you know, that even yogis have known for a long time. The focus, the imagination are huge tools. So that's a big part of the alignment, you know. And even when you're working with your body in your practice, you know, how's your focus? What are you imagining possible for the body, much less for your life? So I love seeing that all of this is I can call it a yogi approach. But yeah, really understanding that our vibe, our energy is creating it all, and that we can, that's such a gift, you know, so that we can read those feelings as guidance, but also know how to change that so that we're feeling how we want to feel and attracting what we want to attract, and yeah, allowing the magic.
So Laura Jane, my awesome friend and Google Hangout mentor, Lisa Ingalls, is sending me a little chat saying Laura Jane can mute herself when you are talking. So I'm going to ask you to do that right now, because I'm going to ask you another question. So at the top of your screen, you should see a little microphone button. If you just click that, then I won't hear your feedback. So you can listen, and there Laura Jane has muted herself. But that does lead me to the next question, Laura Jane, which is, or maybe it's a comment, but that is definitely what I noticed was, and I love what you said about skeletal alignment and sort of plugging us into our energetic alignment. And I know my friend Alan Chong, the spine coach, but he's a chiropractor, and he's, you know, talking about that, right? That there's so many physical reasons why it's important for us to be into alignment, just so that we're out of pain and that we are standing up straighter. And for me, who's a runner, that it's important that I'm not reinforcing imbalances. I'm not strengthening things that shouldn't be strengthened, so that I'm in postural alignment. But yeah, that it is about, boy, if we are structurally aligned, the energy flows much more freely. And you mentioned about, you know, maybe you have an angry shoulder, or you have just something going on in your body. And what I have found is that something going on in my body is related to what's going on in my life. And being a busy mompreneur, right? Oftentimes that's something that's going on in my business. But it is an energy thing that is manifesting itself through pain in my body. And by giving attention, by using the techniques that you've taught me, and also by giving it, by what I've learned from following Louise Hay, and learning, my mic keeps falling off, learning about how we really do store things in our body that manifest themselves as pain, but just how working through that with your practices, and then with, I think, incorporating what you're now starting to incorporating, that idea of meditation, the idea of visualization, that I'm able to release those things and shift specifically around that area, around the thing that was bothering me, or the place that I was stuck in my business. You know, it was showing up as knee pain or ankle pain. So I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself so you can talk about that for a minute. There we go.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like this is like really, we're on the edge of this with our understanding of what it's like to be human and how we're going to handle our bodies and how we're going to handle our minds and yeah, how we're going to handle our realities. So it's I think it's exciting again to see that even feelings in the body and symptoms are always going to be some guidance and some indicator of some misalignments and yes, you're so right that it's always even more than what's just happening with the structure. So it's so beautiful that we can recognize that with these kind of approaches, how much it's all connected and how much we're functioning on all those levels, and then neat that we can address the various levels of ourselves within the same practice, you know, so whether it's the things we can do in a posture or with some breath or just, you know, some mindset changes that because it's all connected, it's all going to shift as we go after it in these various ways. So it's neat. And it's cool how really the mind does do better and different when we're feeling better, and then vice versa. When the mind's doing better and thinking more thoughts that feel good and more about what we do want, that affects the body so much, right? So that's what's so cool about these approaches, again, that we're acknowledging that powerful connection going on between mind and body and between, you know, what we might even feel about our spiritual selves in life. That this gives us a chance to tune into that daily and really keep tuning it up and to keep seeing the reasons to tune up how we're feeling and how much that's going to affect it all, for sure. And I'm glad you bring up the reminder of, you know, being a mom, because I have noticed how much different I am as a mom the more that I've found a way to fit in these kinds of efficient practices. And yeah, that more than ever, I'm living the life I want with lots of time with my kids and feeling super inspired about my business. And even with that, to bring this approach to my business life, to keep letting that be about feeling good and tuning in and letting it be personal. So it's great how the psychology can extend to how we're handling life and ourselves. Yeah, I'm really interested in the effects of this on mental health and just really what's going to be possible for all of us as we just own it more, you know, using these various ways to just tune it in and tune it up. That's my little thing.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you to mute yourself one more time. And that really leads me into maybe how we'll, oh no, did I lose you, Laura Jane? Well, we'll find out. Oh, I see you there. I lost my train of thought. Okay, so that leads me to really the idea that you're still unmuted. So mute yourself so that we don't hear all your feedback. Perfect. Okay. But that leads me to really kind of the I guess where we're headed, right, is those of us who are mompreneurs, those of us who are, you know, we're all busy and we all chose this kind of entrepreneurial life because we did want to be present for our kids. We did want to be home with our kids. I shouldn't say that we all did that, but I know that's a huge component of why many of us chose this life, this entrepreneurial life as moms, is that we wanted to have the freedom to be with our kids. And yet so often we find ourselves just, you know, overly busy or feeling guilty feeling guilty for working, and then feeling, when we're with our kids, feeling guilty that we're not working, and really finding that balance is often challenging. And just what I have found is that the more I hit the mat and do the practices that I've gotten from you, and for me, it really helps to do it first thing in the morning, right? That's the shout out to Lisa Ingalls. That is the power of practice. The idea that it's something that you do daily, it becomes kind of a ritual. For me, it's a very self-settling thing. And there's all kinds of ways to go about your mat practice, and I have several practices from Laura Jane, but one of my favorites is where I start lying down, and I work myself up into some stronger standing postures and poses. And I like that so much because I feel like I'm easing myself into the day. But what I'm getting at is by the end of those 15 or 20 minutes that I've spent on the mat, I feel energized, I feel alive, I feel inspired, I feel aligned. And I'm sure we'll talk about this on plenty of other shows, but I get, my moments of clarity. They come during my mat practice, they come on my runs, and they come in my shower. But that it's just so important to be able to take 15, 20 minutes a day to do on this stuff, whether or not you're in pain, because you want to get yourself aligned and become, like, I feel myself like I'm a clear channel for inspiration and for guidance. And the bonus is that I feel better. The bonus is that I have more energy, but it is just creatively in my business. And it's a meditative time, right? So it's a time where I'm doing some visualizing, which is what you've already talked about. And it's a time where I feel like I'm pre-paving. And it's kind of amazing. It's really fun, actually, to finish my mat practice and then, go check my email and see, oh my gosh, that was just what I was thinking about or hoping for, which is really, really cool. But Laura Jane, I want to give you an opportunity, just because I see that we are just about up with our half hour, just to talk about what you offer and how people can find you. So go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us about it. She's working on unmuting herself. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, and I just wanted to add to what you just said, that for sure the reason why our day does literally go different when we fit in the practices is because we have changed our energy, right? And it's just like, you can't blame it on your day. That's the beauty of owning it. So yeah, it's amazing that your day, your rendezvous with your kids, your moments in your business will be different because you took the time to tune up, and it's really cool. So yeah, so some of the things that I'm doing now is I'm always offering people who are ready for their own home practice a chance to get a personalized home practice through me, and I get to do that through Skype and Google Chat, and even visiting people's homes if they're in Southern California within reach. And I'm doing a lot of online stuff, just offering what I love. I've got a couple YouTube channels and a YouTube show called Tune In and Tune Up with LJ. And I'm getting ready to plan some fabulous retreats, some local kind of mini retreats, and then some just a little bit out of town chances for people to come together and really reconnect with ways to tune in and tune up and own how they're feeling and go home with some new perspectives and practices. So I'm excited just to, get the practices to the people, get the perspectives to the people, and love that it's just coming from me sharing really a creative expression of where I'm at and what I'm using, and loving, and I look forward to more collaborations with other practitioners and folks who want to, help fill us all up to that world we're ready for. So, yeah.
All right.
Pretty good stuff.
Thank you so much, Laura Jane. I'm going to ask you to mute yourself one more time, and I apologize. I know that I can somehow figure out how to do that, but there's only there's only so much I can figure out on my very first hangout. So,
yes.
So go ahead and mute yourself one more time, and I just want to mention again to everybody, or maybe I never mentioned it in the first place, but you can find Laura Jane at her website. It's the letter I, laurajane.com. So that's ILAURAJANE.com. And yes, I highly recommend, whether you're a mompreneur or not, or whether you're in pain or not, visiting Laura Jane for, or getting in touch with Laura Jane, and you can get in touch with her through her website, for a personalized practice consultation. She's incredibly affordable, and wow, I mean, you might not even know that you're not in alignment, and she has this process of looking at your physical structure and being able to discern where you're out of alignment, and creating a menu of 15 to 20-minute mat practice for you to do daily that will make a difference. And I'm going to tell you this because a lot of you are moms, and that is, I notice that when I do the mat practice, I look skinnier. Um, my pelvis has a tendency to shift like this, and it makes my tummy stick out. And so if I just do my mat practice, I actually look thinner, which is kind of a bonus. So for what that's worth, you can check that out. And then again, yeah, Laura Jane does have a couple of YouTube channels, and she has mentioned her show um, on YouTube, which is just fantastic. She's inspirational. She's like groovy granola chick. And she's really, really someone who is great to connect with and just fills you up, gives you that daily dose. I just love listening to her voice as I go through my practice. So thank you everyone for being here for the very first episode of the Carrie Roldan Show. Just to kind of close up, remember that I help busy mompreneurs to spread their wings and leverage their unique gifts so they can make an impact on the world. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can email me at Coach Carrie Roldan, that's the word coach and my name, at gmail.com. And of course, please download my free report at freereport.runyourselfhappysystem.com. So Laura Jane, thanks so much for being here. Everyone who's watching us, thanks so much. We would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. So please leave a comment below, and Laura Jane and I can continue the conversation and engage with you. So guys, thanks so much for being here, and giving you a big virtual hug. I will talk to you soon.